Hi, fight fans, and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. So, Jaroon Boots Ennis eviscerates Usima Lima in the first round to win the WBA interim light middleweight title. The fight, if you can call it that, I mean, it lasted all of 1 minute and 58 seconds. In essence, the fight can be described very quickly. So, the bell goes. Jaron Boots Ennis walks straight to the center of the ring, uses an orthodox stance, proceeds to land some exploratory jabs. He also attempts to land some lead right hands to the body, of which he's successful in one or two of them. Lima, he came forward looking purposeful, trying to look aggressive, trying to land some shots of his own. I guess he was trying to look busy and give the appearance of somebody that wasn't intimidated. But immediately you could see the difference between the two fighters in terms of hand speed, foot speed, and athleticism. Jerome Boots Ennis was clearly the superior fighter. Then about a minute into the first round, Jerome Boots Ennis switches to southpaw and he again lands a few jabs. This initiates an exchange between himself and Lima. Thereupon, Ennis lands the jab, followed by what can only be described as a blistering flurry of punches, including three hooks, which drops Lima to the canvas quite heavily. Now, to be fair to Lima, he beat the count, but you could see that he was clearly disoriented. Ennis, sensing blood, moved in quickly, swarms him with another hail of punches, sends Lima down for the second time. Lima again shows toughness, getting back to his feet, but you could see by his eyes that he was out of there. He staggered backwards into a neutral corner. The referee allows the fight to go on. Ennis moves in closer distance, unleashes an unanswered fusillade of punches, some of them landing, some of them not. But at this point, the referee had obviously seen enough. He intervenes and stops the fight just shy of 2 minutes of the first round. I should add as well that Lima's corner also threw the towel in. Now, I've got to say, this was a hugely impressive performance by Boots Ennis. I mean, let's be honest, let's cut to the chase. We all knew that Boots Ennis was going to win. Certainly those of us who've been watching him for some time, we all knew he was going to win. This was basically a tune-up fight with a title. But I had predicted a 6 to 8 round stoppage because I'd seen Lima fight before. I'd seen him fight a couple of years back at the York Hall when he lost to Aaron McKenna. And you could see he was a big, strong guy. And that fight, by the way, that was at middleweight. So I knew he was big, I knew he was strong, and he was physical. So I thought to myself that he might give Jerome Boots Ennis even some rounds. But I didn't think he was going to win. And I certainly didn't think he'd get stopped inside the first round. And that's exactly what happened. So credit has to go to Jerome Boots Ennis. This was without doubt a statement victory by Jerome Boots Ennis. And the decisive win serves as not just a statement, but a message to the rest of the super welterweight division. And it proves that Jerome Boots Ennis's power and skill trans seamlessly upwards from welterweight to the new junior middleweight division. Now, in his post-fight interview, Jerome Boots Ennis made it clear that he wants Virgil Ortiz next. He called him out in the ring. Now, this fight between Ennis and Ortiz is a potential super fight. It's been eagerly anticipated by fans for many years now. And I would have to imagine that after the performance that Boots Ennis put in, that this is now a step closer to becoming a reality. I know that Virgil Ortiz, he has a fight coming up soon against Erickson Lubin in early November. That should be a good fight. But I'm expecting Virgil Ortiz to come through that particular fight. But as well as Virgil Ortiz, I mean, the junior middleweight division is stacked. There is some really good talent at 154, including Sebastian Vondora, who was due to have fought Keith Furman. That fight, I'm being told, is being put off or cancelled for now because of a hand injury to Fundora. There's other champions out there. Xander Zayas of Puerto Rico, a really good fighter, tall, rangy, good jab, good skills, can punch. There's also Murtalazev, I hope I haven't butchered that name, the Russian. He was last in the ring, decimating Tim Tszyu of Australia. Really impressive performance. And there's also Jamel Charlo, former champion, fought Canelo at super middleweight, but he's announcing his intentions to move back down to the 154-pound division and has actually called out Boots Ennis. And all of those names, Fundora, Zayas, Murtalazev, Jamel Charlo, all those names were mentioned by Jerome Boots Ennis and his promoter, the excited Eddie Hearn, who was waxing lyrical as he always does about Boots Ennis, basically saying that anyone can get it. And they were saying that all those guys could be potential future opponents for Jerome Boots Ennis. So this was a really good night for Jerome Boots Ennis. Sold out arena in Philadelphia. Seemed like the fans out there really like him. And such an impressive KO win can only push that Ennis narrative and suggest that he's not just moving up in weight, but he's going to be dangerous at that weight as well. It also improves his bargaining power in terms of making big money fights, bringing in purses, positioning rankings, and also makes Boots, in my opinion, one of the most talented and exciting fighters in world boxing today. I mean, let's not forget the fight previous to the Lima fight, where he destroyed former welterweight champion Eviscerates Stanionis. That was back in April. And Boots did a number on him, stopped him in 6 rounds. And Stanionis, let's be honest, he was a very good fighter, known for his toughness, known for his durability, and he was no match for Boots Ennis. So that kind of tells you what we're talking about here. So Boots Ennis is definitely one of the best fighters in the world, in my opinion. I can't wait to see him back in the ring. Like I said, he's calling out all those guys, the aforementioned guys, with some gusto. You can see it's not just cap. He really wants it with these guys. And I'm not saying he'd beat all of them or beat all of them easy, but you'd have to make him favourite over most of those guys. I personally would make him favourite over Virgil Ortiz. But here it is. I mean, when I say that, I'm not in any way throwing shade on Virgil and Ortiz, because I really rate Ortiz as well. He's a fighter that I also really like watching. But I just think that Boots Ennis has that combination of natural talent. He has power, he has speed, he has athleticism. He's a switch hitter like Crawford. He can box from orthodox or southpaw equally well. He just seems so talented. I think the one thing I would say about Boots Ennis, and I've mentioned this before in some of the videos I've made, is that he can be hit. And in a way, that kind of makes him even more exciting, because he does like to stay in the pocket. Even when he got rid of Lima, he was in the pocket there. Once he had his opponent hurt, he went for it. And he basically, just lets his hands go without fear of what's coming back. Now, in a way, that's great to watch. But, boxing, guys who know boxing well will tell you that, he's putting himself at danger, especially when he steps up in class with some of the bigger punchers like Ortiz, Zayas, Murtalazev, Charlo, people like that, guys who can hit. If you stay in the pocket and get countered, you're at risk of, putting yourself in danger as well. But certainly what I've seen so far, man, Boots Ennis is definitely one of the best fighters in the world today. I can't wait to see him again. I was really impressed with the performance yesterday. Like I said, at the risk of repeating myself, I knew that Lima wasn't going to beat Ortiz, but I was so impressed by the way that Boots Ennis got the job done. But I'd love to hear from you guys. How impressed were you with this win over Lima? Were you impressed like I was, or do you think too much is being made of it, that Lima was just basically a tune-up and that Boots Ennis did what he was supposed to do? Are you in that camp, or are you in the camp I'm in that suggests that this was a really impressive win? Who would you like to see Boots fight next? That's another question I'd like to ask you guys out there. For me, Virgil Ortiz is the guy I'd like to see him fight. But I mean, listen, there are other names at the 154 division that are good fighters as well. Plenty of talent in the division. Let me know who you want to see Boots fight next. Please leave it in the comments. Thanks so much for watching LL Sports TV. Really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. I'm out.